Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Bert Ferguson, Realtor, coming to you guys with another video. And I want to talk to you guys about HOAs. I saw a video and read an article about an HOA down in Hillsborough County, Florida, that has been adopted into a neighborhood and is giving the homeowners a lot of issues. And I wanted to talk about HOAs because I'm getting a lot of questions about them. So in this video, we're going to talk about HOAs. All right, guys, so if you're watching this, make sure you like and subscribe, whether you're Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, Snapchat, LinkedIn, wherever you're watching this. Make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps the algorithm to make sure people just like you get the video and understand the topics we're talking about. So today, we're talking about HOAs. So what is an HOA? An HOA is a homeowners association, and these are usually held by the homeowners in some sort of documentation of covenant that allows for the neighborhood to keep certain things together. Now, a lot of people ask me about HOAs, and one of the first things they tell me when we start to do our buyer consultation is they don't want to live in a neighborhood with an HOA, right? Everybody knows the idea of that person in the neighborhood who's going around and measuring grass and checking sidewalks and checking your home siding and your fence and all that and just getting into your business. But HOAs can actually have a really great purpose in your development if it's the things that you're looking for. So first thing, a HOA is a homeowners association, and this is usually a collection of people in the neighborhood who come together to create an association to help keep the neighborhood safe and under certain cosmetic standards. Now, oftentimes HOAs can do a lot more than just cosmetic stuff. They can be a part of making sure that the neighborhood has all of the repairs that are needed, whether it's the roads or if there's a community pool or community basketball court or playgrounds. The HOA will usually come together to make sure these things stay, up to a certain standard. So when you buy a home, one of the most important factors is that your wealth can be tied up in that home, and you want, in all best cases, for the home's value to continue to go up or at least hold its value, and that neighborhood to hold its value. Well, that's one of the primary functions of an HOA. They're going to make sure that, let's say you have a neighbor who defaults on their home and abandons the home, and that grass is getting higher and higher. The HOA will make sure the grass is cut and various things in the neighborhood to make sure that your home retains value. So HOAs are very useful in that regard. Now, some of the cons of HOAs, which brings me back to my original point of the video. Down in Hillsborough County, Florida, there is an HOA that is now putting liens on homeowners' properties because of violations of the HOA rules. This is very uncommon, but that is one of the risks you take with an HOA neighborhood. You must make sure you know the HOA bylaws so that if you are in violation of any of those bylaws, you understand what the consequences are. And if a new HOA comes in, make sure you stay on top of that paperwork. So now we're going to go over the cons of an HOA. All right, so one of the biggest cons of an HOA is, of course, the payments. It adds an extra payment into your home ownership journey. Again, those payments are used usually for fair things, but there is usually an extra payment. Usually they're paid quarterly. If you live in a condo community or condominium ownership community, it may be more frequent, but those payments are going to vary depending on what kind of amenities your HOA is covering and what kind of amenities your neighborhood has. So it's an extra payment. And for some people who are very payment sensitive, especially my first time home buyers, this is something that I do like to get across to them. But for some of my advanced home buyers, they're paying for that peace of mind. Next is going to be those restrictions, right? If you want to paint your door a certain color, or you want to get a certain type of shed, you want to get a certain height fence. These are the top 3 things that I've seen in my experience that HOAs are pretty much going to be a stickler about. So you really want to make sure if you want to put a basketball hoop in your community, or if you want to have guests park in the street and not in your driveway after a certain time, you need to know what those times are and what the violations can be or what kind of exceptions you can get. But there are restrictions with an HOA, but they're just trying to look out for you and the other homeowners in the community. So that's kind of a little bit of a breakdown of home ownership associations, homeowner associations, HOAs. They're not all bad. It just depends on what your situation is, who's running your HOA, because if you live in a new construction development, the HOA is still owned by the builder. So there may be ways around some of the things that you want to get. They're not all bad. It's just make sure your realtor understands if your home you're looking at is in an HOA and what those rules are and kind of what you're getting into, okay? If you guys live in an HOA or have questions about an HOA, leave a comment below and let's talk about it. You like HOA neighborhoods? Thanks, guys, for watching.